Alleged killer in this case. We have to be very clear about that. He's facing an extradition hearing here, but I just wonder what you think of a moment like that as you see it.
Knowing the evidence that police claim to have against this individual, Brianna, it's quite disturbing. These outbursts will definitely be assessed by his defense team, as they're far from normal. We've already received reports that he's been acting strangely since the summer, becoming increasingly reclusive. This manifesto, filled with rants, reflects someone with clearly erratic thoughts, which is why he put them down on paper. All of this is certainly concerning. The defense will need to determine whether this person even understands the charges against him. They may need to assess whether his thoughts are coherent enough for him to comprehend the proceedings at this stage. If there's any indication that he isn't capable of understanding, a psychological evaluation might be required, and the results would be presented to the judge. The judge would then decide whether to move forward with the case. But these outbursts are definitely troubling. You can see how quickly officers moved him inside. Mercedes, as you're discussing the suspect's understanding of the legal process, what exactly happens during an extradition hearing? The demanding state, in this case New York, needs to establish legal grounds, and law enforcement from both New York and Pennsylvania must confirm the status of the case.
Is the individual that was the alleged shooter of Brian Thompson. So they'll have to go through the evidence that we've already described, the manifesto, the ghost gun, the images that we saw, even the eyewitness, and they may even bring in some of the eyewitness who was discovered. The arresting officer in Pennsylvania will come forward and talk about the exchange that he had with Mangione. It's already been reported that arresting officer, when asked Mangione, the first words out of his mouth, it's been reported, he asked Mangione, were you in New York? And certainly Mangione, at least this officer, claims that he was very nervous when asked that question. So there will be testimony, there will be evidence, but Mangione can waive it. I mean, depending on whether he waives it, it doesn't sound, to Brianna's point, doesn't sound like he may waive the hearing.
If he decides to waive the hearing, he will be extradited without any further proceedings. However, it doesn't seem like that will happen. It looks like the process will move forward, with witnesses and evidence being presented to the judge, who will ultimately determine if there's probable cause to proceed, especially since this involves the alleged killer of Ryan Thompson. We're expecting updates from that hearing shortly. Mercedes Cohen, thank you for your analysis. Simmons has been following every development in this case. Brennan, what's happening at the extradition hearing?
Yeah, so listen, Boris, we have a reporter inside the courtroom right now. They are not allowed to have any sort of communication, so we don't quite know just yet if that hearing
The extradition hearing has begun, though we're still waiting for an update. We know he's inside the courthouse, as seen during that tense moment when multiple sheriff's deputies had to intervene to calm him down and get him into the building. This is the first time we've heard directly from him. He has a defense attorney representing him for this hearing. New York has requested his extradition, and a warrant for his arrest has been issued. Now it's up to the trial judge to decide how to proceed. The judge will determine whether he will fight the extradition or if the process will move forward, with officers from the NYPD and U.S. Marshals potentially transporting him to New York, possibly later tonight or tomorrow.